see. All right. Let me know if you can hear me now. You should be able to hear me now. I don't think I hit the thing. Yeah. You should be able to hear me now, though. Coach Michael, what's happening? So put it in the chat for me that you can hear me. We good? All right, bet. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna get started at 8 o'clock with tonight's subject matter. Got the Prime Minister gonna chime on in priesthood style tonight, a little bit of Friday night session. Some tools that you may want to have, man, if you're a person of biblical interest. There's something called the Interlinear Bible. This bad boy is thick. I gotta look at this on Zoom because I'm looking on YouTube. It's a delay. All right, so the Interlinear Hebrew, Greek, English Bible was pretty dope. One thing about this particular Bible that I love is it gives you the strong concordance number above the word. And what happens in the concordance is you can you have to go look up the number that corresponds. They give you a number in that Bible, and then you get something like a strong concordance. And then what happens is you go look up, if it's Hebrew, you go to the Hebrew section. If it's Greek, you go to the Greek section, you look up that number, and it's going to give you the word that was in the Bible and give you various definitions of that word. Okay. So this is one way that you can get to learn to translate for yourself. This is why there are different translations of the Bible, because again, as I did in a webinar dealing with Numbers, the book of Numbers, they may say sin, but sin, another word for sin, is poverty. And so maybe they should have put poverty there. Or maybe it's okay to put sin there, but another author is going to put poverty right there. And then that gives you a total different context when you're looking at these things. So those are some very, very good tools to have, so you could analyze and understand the scripture for yourself. So a lot of people become confused in a sense because they do not know, they don't have no understanding of the parable. You know what I mean? The whole book is a coded book. You know what I mean? And it's to get you to use your imagination, is to get you to use the right side of your brain. But the unique thing is you now have a tool to give you more definitions of the particular word. So hopefully you can grasp the understanding. Okay. So that's pretty dope. All right. So how y'all doing over there on YouTube? How you doing? Do me a favor, click the thumbs up button for me so we can alert the algorithm. I did not bring no water down here. I'm tripping. I'll wait till you get in here. Go get me some agua. And then my microphone is super sensitive. I can hear the furnace. Yeah. All right. Coach Mike, what's good, Twana? Mike P, Scientific Mystic. All right. Cool. We cooling. Let's go with a thumbs up over there in YouTube land. Let's do a thumbs up so we can alert the following family members. Let's go. We're gonna do that. Let me see if I can go to Zoom. I don't see Jew. He ain't in here yet. All right. So look, we're gonna get started at 8 o'clock. Provided Minister Jew's on time. I'ma run and go get some water. I'll be right back. Yeah. Hold on, y'all. I'm coming. All right. All right. All right, let me go to the Zoom, man. Where we at? All right. Brandy, what's up? What we got? Trail Cast, what's happening? Adrian Nicole, what's up? What's up with you? Ernest, what's going on? All right, y'all, 5 minutes before start time. They say, inshallah, we can start on time. Provided the Prime Minister El Monte, salam. What's going on? What's going on? Happening. So what y'all got good on the pre-show, man? What we got good on the pre-show? What y'all doing this weekend? What y'all doing? What y'all doing this weekend? Hey, appreciate it. Thank you, Twan. Yeah, thank you. Michael Cornish was good. Pronif, what's up? What y'all got going on this weekend, man? I gotta go freaking oversee the clean out of an apartment building in the freaking building or that particular apartment. Ooh, magic mushrooms. Stop playing. You doing magic mushrooms this weekend? I need to ride with you. And man, I'm on a freaking clean out with freaking bed bugs, man. I'm so freaking upset and salty, and I'm gonna get some hella feedback, kickback, because I'm dealing with a hoarder. You ever watch hoarders? And they emotionally attached to things that serve them no good, and And, it's painful for them to throw things away, and they fight you along the way. And you know what I mean? And tomorrow is just one of them days. This is the grit stuff behind the real estate scene aspect. I can pay somebody to do it. But in fact, I am, but I still gotta, oversee the process, because this particular property is just, I have to, you know what I mean? It's an asset of mine. And so I'll be cleaning tomorrow, or assisting the cleaning process of some things, and then checking on another one of my properties where they're about to go over this floor, about to repaint one of the rental properties. It's pretty much ready to go, but I like to do things my way, you know what I mean? As if I was living there. And yeah, about to take care of that tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll be in the field, man. I might click on the live real fast tomorrow. So definitely subscribe, hit the notification buttons while I'm out in the field, to show you the behind the scenes stuff that I go through. You know what I'm saying? Tanya, what's happening? You know what I mean? The life of this stuff is can be gritty. Goddamn bed bugs, and that shit gonna have me paranoid. Man, I'm so discombobulated over them. I have nightmares about fucking bed bugs and shit, man. All right, man. What you at, man? He in here? 7:59. See, I'm the early cat. Um, yeah. Oh man, subject to and wholesaling. I do those. Yeah, I do those, Pronif. Wholesaling is where it's at. That's how you get your capital up. I never always do that. Like, you know what I mean? Never throw that hustle away, unless you scale so big, you ain't even got to do that no more, because you got access to cash. So wholesale all day. Subject to is where you use the wholesale money to give the subject to person a down payment. All right, man. You're gonna be here in 5 minutes. That's unacceptable. God damn it! I'm 15 minutes early. He's 5 minutes late. All right. So I'm sensitive about time, man. I have no problem with time. Um, hey Carla. Yeah. So subject to is dope. You know what I mean? I've done a lot of stuff, man. Subject to is super sweet. Subject to, if you don't know, is a strategy where you can go after people who have low equity or really negative equity in their property. Um, those are the best candidates for it. They got negative equity and they can't sell it if they wanted to. In my situation, she owed a little over 100,000, and the house was only worth 85. So even if she sold it, she need to come up with 15,000 to satisfy the bank. So she's upside down. So a traditional sale won't work. So what we do is, send her a letter, say, hey, we understand that your property may be, undervalued, or you may be upside down on your mortgage. We got, we can help you. You can receive a down payment that's non-refundable. You may can receive monthly payments, and our company will take over your mortgage. And so they've called, we come through. Obviously, this only works when the rent value supersedes the mortgage. In this case, the mortgage was a little over 700, like 702. I currently got that place rented for 1325, 1350. And so I keep the difference. Pay my management company, gets 6% of that. The rest of that, I keep put away some for taxes, for the county taxes. And so we're talking about, a $500, $600 spread, because I'm targeting those people. So I strongly recommend subject twos, because that's a way that you can get inside of the rental space with just a little bit of money. So in that particular case, she agreed to take $3,000 for her keys and sign it over to me. But I did have to put a roof on it. So I spent $6,000 on the roof. So now I'm 9,000. I did go ahead and put some ceiling fans in the bedrooms and in the living room, because the living room didn't have no lights. It's just one of those things you had to put a lamp and plug it in, but it didn't have no ceiling lights. So I put a ceiling fan light in the middle. So I had to have my electrician come over, run that. That's the property that I use epoxy flooring on that particular property. Let me see something. I'll actually share my screen and show you that's what that subject to deal was. Do I got some pictures of that? Yeah, man, yeah, man. That's after. I'll show you the before and after pictures of that. And then I thought I had a picture of the blue bathroom floor I did. Oh, here it is right here. That's rough. All right. And so, hold on. Let me share my screen with you real fast. Boop. All right. So, this picture that you see right here is just side by side bathroom shots before I finished the bathroom. So obviously that's what the floor was. I went ahead and we did a epoxy blue on that one. Give it that little, calming blue ocean feel. And then this is what the basement looked like when I got it. And so I was cool with the orange down there, but as you can see, the carpet is super dingy and just worn out. So we got rid of the carpet and we actually did an orange epoxy floor. That's what I did. Okay. Um, yeah.
No, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you see me too?
Yeah, I can see you. Yeah.
All right, bet.
So yeah, so that's what we did on a sub two, y'all. Which was, that was a pretty dope concept for us, because again, it was maybe, a few thousand. I spent a few thousand on that one to make the acquisition. Probably about, if I had to guess, maybe about 11, probably about 11 grand to get that one all together. But I didn't have to do what I did. You know what I mean? The roof had to get addressed, but the other stuff I really didn't have to do like that. But again, I'm one of those guys that I'll do stuff my way, you know. So if you studying that, bro, Proneef, go ahead, man. Keep doing that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you something. Don't get stuck in analysis paralysis, bro. This shit ain't hard. What you do is, you know what I mean. You leverage some technology to help you find it. I'll do it. I give people these lists for free. I don't want money to be a barrier. You can just call me, let me know what your zip code is, and of your area of, your desired area where you want to target people, and we can do your whole city or your zip code. You know what I mean? I do your whole city for you, and I'll send you the list. It don't take me no time to get the list. I'll send you the list, and then I'm gonna send you all negative equity, and then you're gonna have their mailing address and obviously the property address, and then from that point, it's you making contact with them. Now you can skip trace them, get their phone number, or you can write you a letter, go to Kinko's or whatever, get you a copy your letter, and then put them things, stuff them envelopes out, and mail them a letter, bro. So I love that strategy because it's how you build rental. You can build your rental portfolio that way. You know what I mean? And yeah, what up, Minister Jew? What's happening? Uh-oh, I think he gone. Oh, he stepped away. And even with owner finance is the same thing. It just ain't no mortgage in play. So I've done those. You know what I'm saying? I got one that's hounding me right now, like, hey, you think we can close this deal out before the new year? She wanna her house is like, she totally redid it and had it on the market not too long ago. And she had it on the market for almost 60K, and she's willing to let me get it for 30, but I'll give her 15,000 in cash, and I can walk her over 7 years for monthly payments and whatnot. So I'm looking at that one next, is the next key. So in fact, that one may actually go to the group to see if the group want to get in, because all my dividends is somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And so they out here, man. These deals are out here. Don't procrastinate. Just once you understand the concept, you got it. Now it's time to get in front of the seller. You know what I'm saying? You got an owner too? Yeah. That's dope, man. Free and clear. Yeah. Do that. Do the deals. Do the deals, man. Do the deals. Monica Montgomery, Andrea Graydon chimed in. Divine Divinity, peace and love. What's cracking? 42 people in the chat. We about to get the party started, but he want 235 for a duplex with tenants. What's the what's the rent over there? You know what I'm saying? And how much he willing to take down, and what's the monthly payments on that? You know what I'm saying? On the sub two. If you're doing the sub two, what you got to pay the bank?
No, what up, bro?
What up?
What do you do?
Man, that's what we do about this time, man. What's happening?
Chilling. Peace to the chat. What's good,
Yeah.
everybody?
Yeah.
Got some exciting subject matter tonight, baby.
Yeah. Hey man, somebody put it in the chat. Or put it in they put it in the comments section. There's a delay on your live on my end. I don't know why that's happening. Let me see. I don't know. Jew got me in real time though. If it's Zoom for sure, like that happens. Zoom to YouTube is a delay. But yeah, somebody put in the chat, man, yo, what's up with the, is there a difference between the law of attraction and astrology? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, bet that's the subject matter we can get into. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go ahead, bro, and make you the host because I know you got something on the screen and whatnot. You should have it, and we can get this party started, man.
Okay, so you want me to go first?
Oh yeah, I know you got some slides for him or something.
Hold on, let me see that. I be forgetting, man, because I don't work this thing too often. So what? They should be able to see my computer though, right?
Yeah, you hit that share screen joint at the bottom.
Oh no. Give me a second, bro. Uh-oh, god damn it. Where did it go? Hold on, Noble. Oh boy, now I can't see you. Hold them up, man. Oh boy. Yeah, man. Now I can't see you, cuz.
Oh man.
Oh wait, there you go. Hold on. There you go. Wait a minute. Okay. Just give me a second, bro. I'm trying to learn how to work, Joe.
Hey, somebody just text me, Jew over there acting like an old man.
hey, it's all right though, right?
Yeah, that's funny. Straight up.
Somebody talking smack about me, Joe.
Yeah, hold on. There you go. It's
all right. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. Right? Tell them to be what they expect from a Capricorn moon, right?
Hey man. Hey, I got a nickname for that dude. I call him Grandpop.
Right.
Grandpop Jew ain't doing nothing.
Right? So look, man. DeBeer, can you still see me, bro?
Yeah, I can see you on my right side. I see your screen real big.
What you see? Measurement problem?
Yep, I see measurement problem. Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so cool. So peace to everybody out there, man. We're gonna get it in tonight, have a really good dialogue with the people. This one they've been burning to to reach the forefront for conversation piece. And so Ampu mentioned to me last week. We actually was gonna go on last week, but it just wasn't in the schedule for me at the time to be able to come on that particular day when we was planning to do it. And so we just, we put it off to this Friday, man. The subject matter of astrology and quantum mechanics, or what people are gonna call the law of attraction, right? And so I want to start off by saying this first, because I'm a proponent of both, that both are true. the law of attraction and astrology both are true. However, there seems to be some form of separation in the minds of people who study these particular crafts, particularly people who study the craft of astrology, absentee, law of attraction or manifestation. They tend to not give it as much credence and whatnot. And so, what I'm here to do this evening is to shed some more light, some more evidence to get people to see how real this phenomenon is. Now, I'm really doing this for study purposes for the people out there. I've been a proponent and a practitioner of this for the last 5 or 6 years, and I've seen the results, man. You know, we $7 million, $8 million deep in testimonials with people that set out specific goals and acquire that specific goal. Not a roundabout, not maybe so, not something like it, but what they set out via their intention, right, through the form of mindfulness practices, that result came back into their reality bullseye, right? And so, in order to understand what we call in the law of attraction, because see, these are terms that are being floated around. They're trendy, they're catchy. People can identify with the simplistic language of a law, something that's for sure, definite, and attraction. Pulling something toward. You think magnets, right? When you think attraction, right? But the underlying principle of what's actually taking place in relationship to the term the law of attraction is really quantum mechanics. Okay? And so I want to shed more light tonight on the law of attraction side and give some insights to how and why this phenomenon is very, very real. Now, first, when we talk in astrology, right, thousands of years old, people before us have been studying the craft. There's people going to be studying the craft long after we done fooling around with this thing. But the deal is this. There's nothing in the physical universe, right? And I have to draw stark parallels here so that people can see, because in some minds it feels like a versus, astrology versus manifestation, or astrology versus the law of attraction. So since that's the vibe, I'm going to draw these stark comparisons so that you can see what's the underlying cause of the phenomenon of life. There's nothing that we see with our physical eyes, including planets, that don't get their make and model number from the world of quantum physics. That's just a scientific fact. It's not hyperbole. It's not philosophy. It's not, it's not metaphysics. It's not none of that. It's a scientific fact. Planets, comets, asteroids, suns are all made of atoms, which are composed of subatomic particles, electrons, neutrons, protons, etc. You also got other things roaming around right in your environment called neutrinos that move and pass through everything. So everything that comes into existence, including Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, the moon, the sun, all of it has its heyday because of its maker, which is subatomic light. Now, if we were, hold on, take this with you. Now, if we were to, it always turns into a Bible class with me, right? To be in some form or fashion.
Right.
But if we were to take it to scripture, right? And I'm really freelancing. I don't even know, like I got some slides. I might get through some of them. But listen, if we go to scripture, you know how people be like, it's a contradiction in the chapter of Genesis where they say, and God said, let there be light. Yeah. And then they'll be like, but the sun is what gives us light, right, Nabir? Mm-hmm. They'll say that the sun is what gives us light, but the sun wasn't created until the third or fourth day. So where was the light coming from that God said, let there be light? Well, and when you look into the text and you translate the different meanings and terms for light, there's two different forms of light that is being presented to the reader, but you're reading the word light in English, Ligth, and you're thinking it's the same, it's light. It's the same type of light. But when you translate, you get an entirely different meaning, right? Mm-hmm. So the first light is actually talking about subatomic particles. Mm. The root of what is causing everything that we see in the physical universe. Okay? So now I have to make that as my grounding point so that we understand who's the mama and daddy versus who are the children here. We have to make that distinction. Because if we don't, then we're missing a very, very key component to the steps and procedure of how things are actually made and come into existence so that you can even have an experience. So, in quantum physics, they got something called the measurement problem, right? And this measurement problem in a nutshell, and I got it on the screen if you want to read through it, but I done read this stuff back and forth 50, 60 times. But anyway, the issue is the fundamental building blocks of the universe, right? The core nature, right? Everybody be like, study nature. You got to go back to nature. Well, how far back you going, right? So the issue is that anytime a particle, a subatomic particle, is engaged through some type of measurement or observation, right? Then we get a series of events that take away the possibilities or the probabilities, and we get a definite situation. A specific situation begins to unfold by way of measurement, by way of observation. And this is like the big skeleton in the closet in the world of physics, because what this is suggesting, according to what these experiments are rendering these physicists and theoretical physicists, is that Newtonian physics ain't the baseline model for how we should be explaining reality. What do you call it in Islam? Al-Haq? Is that it, Dabir?
Al-Haq, truth. That's
right?
The truth. Mm-hmm.
The absolute truth. So the absolute truth ain't what Einstein or Newton talking about, being able to measure things in a way where we always know exactly where it will be. That is a byproduct of the absolute truth, which is this spooky, weird, mind-boggling, totally contrary to logic world of subatomic particles that is creating everything that we see that we think is so normal in our visible spectrum. But what happens is they say, well, damn, how is it that when a human being is in a laboratory and we take a look at this wave, which is infinite possibilities, the moment we lay our eyes on it, something happens to this light. or to this wave. We get a definite particle. So that left them to say, wait a minute, are you telling me, based upon how I'm viewing nature, that nature is responding to how I see it? So this goes back to this whole thing about perception, right? And I just had a class yesterday with my members where I talked about the power of perception and how the imagination actually can create a situation or scenario in the mind where, based upon what you see, can change what you hear. And what you hear can change what you see, literally, based upon your perception of the event. Now, this ain't, again, I got to make this clear because we have to separate ourselves from some of these narratives out here. This is not philosophy, people. I'm going to keep repeating that. This is not, what people are usually talking about when they're talking about metaphysics. A lot of stuff that sound real deep, but it's very little evidence, or you can't prove hardly none of it. This ain't that. These are things that have been studied in laboratories and have thousands of times over, and the same result come back out, right? So now, what does that look like, Jew? You got this experiment called Schrodinger's cat, right? Where this measurement problem, or this what they call superposition, right? Which is a state where these subatomic particles, because they have infinite potentials and unlimited possibilities, it could be anything. It could be the cat on a subatomic level while it's in superposition. And because this is the thought experiment that they had to explain what was going on in the math in relationship to quantum physics, was that, look, we got a cat in the box, and according to quantum physics, we don't know if the cat is dead or alive in the box until somebody actually goes to look. So you remember that question they used to ask? People thought it was a real deep question. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there to hear the tree fall, does it make a sound? Right? And, prior to your common sense will say, well, yeah, if the tree fell, even if there was nobody there, it surely made a sound. Not on a quantized scale. If nobody's there to observe it, we don't know. And you may say, well, Jew, if we put a recording device there and nobody's there and the tree falls, is going to make a sound. Yes, because you put a measuring device that collapsed the superposition. Yeah, I know, sounds weird, but these are how the fundamental building blocks of nature actually project what we think physical reality is all about. So how do we tie this into astrology, right? To make this make sense, because I said they're both true. Law of attraction and astrology, right? So there's something else that happens in quantum physics called decoherence. So if you're looking on the left on your screen, you're going to see a circle that says heads and tails, right? So let's just call this heads and tails circle a photon, right? And this photon in a vacuum, let me go back. So like in the Schrodinger's cat, every time they explain in that experiment, they always make the observer the singular point reference as to the wave collapsing or the superposition collapsing. They make the observer the key point to say whoever looks in, that person is the main vocal point to determine whether the cat is dead or alive in the box once the observation is made, right? But there's another factor that doesn't get talked about that's actually real science too, that's going on inside of the box that the cat is in. It's called air molecules, mesons, all of these other particles dust particles, all of these other things that are flying around that you can't see in the environment inside the box with the cat, these subatomic principles, right? Or these entangled photons are still engaging these other particles inside the box with the cat. Yeah, you can have some, baby, right? So they're still engaging they're still engaging the cat inside of the box. Now you might say, well, Drew, what does that have to do anything? Let me tell you. The moment any particle interacts with another particle, we get something called decoherence, where the trajectory or the probability of what was going on in that world of entanglement now becomes two separate situations, and they go on to take on different trajectories. So they're no longer one. They've now become one and entangled with other particles in the environment. Now, Ampu is going to talk about this, so I don't want to steal it, but I just want to kind of touch on this. The things, see, once you move from ground zero, which is coherence, right? Where these waves are in sync with one another. The moment you take anything out of a coherent state and place it in an environment where it can interact, or in other words, take it out of a vacuum where it can interact with other particles, what you have is a series of entanglements. And you can't find the origin point because you've got so many different separations that have occurred. So let me tell you what's happening. See, we're all in a circle, right? We're in a circle of life. These planets are orbiting around, we're orbiting around the sun, all of these things are going on. So this is how these planetary bodies and other things have an influence, because they are in our environment and we are all entangled with everything else in the environment, right? But here's the key. Here's the key, right? So really what I'm saying is it's one huge quantum entanglement going on. Everybody's connected, right? You hear it in the movie. It's a circle of life in the Simba joint, the Lion King joint, right? But here's the part that when you continue to scale it down, the observation doesn't stop there. You still are engaging subatomic particles that are responsible for everything that is created in our physical reality, which means what? Yes, planets have influence, right? Like you're driving under the influence. But the human being also has influence, because it's going to always be subatomic information in the environment. You see? So I just want to show you some of these things so you can kind of get an idea of how weird this stuff is, right? This is nature, right? How quantum trickery can scramble cause and effect. Logic-defying experiments in quantum causality can twist the notion of time itself. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because I've had people do a technique that I created called the positron pass, where I've had people rewrite the past. Listen, let me tell y'all. I had one lady rewrite the past. Do you know she got a check in the mail for $21,000 from a car accident that was over 21 years old? I'm not making this up, man. Had her go rewrite a script for a previous situation that appeared to be like, who sends a check out to a car accident victim, or somebody who was in a situation 21 years later after the fact? And I've got many more stories like this. But I just want to show you, when you start to tap into the cause of the phenomenon of what we call the very big world, then we can have an effect on how things appear in the very big world. In fact, they've shown experiments in how quantum particles actually had an effect on the physical mirror. So we're not guessing, right? Now, look at this, DeBeer. It's MIT, right? A quantum experiment suggests there's no such thing as objective reality. Ooh-wee. That may make some people hot, right? Physicists have long suspected that quantum mechanics allows, look at this now, because this is going to go back to what I just said about the individual being able to make an observation based upon what's available in the environment, and the stuff that makes everything that we see is always readily available in the environment, right? So look at this. Physicists have long suspected that quantum mechanics allows two observers to experience different, conflicting realities. Now they performed the first experiment that proves it. So what does this mean? Two people can be in the same location, right? And both have different conflicting realities based upon how they are observing a phenomenon.
Daddy, this is for scissors.
Okay.
Can I do it?
Yeah. Right? So I just want to show you this because, yeah, you do. You have to understand how important this phenomenon is about what you think is possible, right? Because a lot of people shun and mock the law of attraction and manifestation and and visualization. They ain't even studied it or let alone practiced it long enough to be able to see. If you're really a scientist, you're going to practice something to be able to see. And then you need to know the mechanics of how it works so you can get the best outcome for what it is that you are implementing, right? So, in one experiment, y'all, because I like to drop experiments on people so you can see and go research this stuff yourself, right? Well, I said this ain't philosophy, right? So, with Drew, it ain't philosophy. You just ain't talking outside your neck. Prove it. Okay. So, in one experiment, y'all, they hook people up to these EEG machines, right? And what they discovered was they had one person in one location, another person in another location. They were distant from each other, and they had them both hooked up to EEG machines, right? Because I want to show you, because what people are saying when they denounce the law of attraction, what they really are saying is they don't think that the mind can have an influence on something outside of themselves. But that's a lie too. All you got to do is look at the reticular activating system in the brain, and you'll find out how the mind actually points you in the direction to the things that you're focused on. If you were studying, right? But anyway, so what ends up happening is in this study, they sent a stimulation of magnetic pulses across these people's cranium, right? And what they discovered was one person was in a room looking at a light bulb flashing. So imagine yourself sitting in a room, you hooked up, and you're just looking at a light bulb flash, 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 flash. The person in the other room who was hooked up to the EEG machine, every time the light bulb flashed and that flicker of light penetrated that person's eyes, the person in the other room, brain waves were going off as if they were the ones looking at the light bulb. Right? 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 So now, what does this tell us, Jew? We can influence things at a distance. If we focus our attention on something and become entangled with it, then what happens? We start to get back in a coherent state with it. Take it upstairs with you.
Daddy, I don't have any glue because I need to stick the stuff on there.
Okay, you got to go upstairs, find something in your room. It's in your bench, right? So the what this shows us is that over long distances we can have an impact, and these people didn't even know each other. You can have an impact and have suggestions flowing across invisible waves, right? Like you on your cell phone and you call in, and the signal reach somebody way over in Tokyo, Japan. These things are traveling along waves, right? So the 42nd Psalm will tell you something like this. They'll remix it like this in the old school. They'll tell you that the deep calls upon deep. In other words, you know how when you had that moment and all of a sudden you thinking about somebody and all of a sudden the phone ring and it's that person, or you thought about a person who you ain't talked to in months or weeks and years, and all of a sudden a week later that person pops up in your email or they give you a call, and you're like, damn, I was just thinking about you last week. See, you called them up, you dialed them up on a different level of consciousness, right? So when you become entangled with an idea or a goal, then you know what happens? You start to become coherent with all of the other people, and listen, a light bulb is said to be supposed to be an inanimate object. You would think a light bulb don't have no consciousness, right? But yet the person is looking at an inanimate object and the other person's brainwaves is going off, predicated upon what the other person is looking at, called a light bulb. So we can't just ignore this, man. We can't ignore it, man. Right? K.S. Soroka, C.F. LaValle correlated cerebral events between physically and sensory isolated pairs. Neuroscience Letters, December 2010. Right? So I mentioned magnetism, right? We got to talk about it because it's the law of attraction. And last time I checked, magnets attract, right? What the hell is magnetite doing in your brain? That's the question. Because ain't no law of attraction, it's some pseudo. Okay, all right. But meanwhile, people around me who put it into practice, they keep winning, and everybody else, they keep complaining about this ain't right, I'm losing this, and okay, let them have it with their old skeptic selves. They can keep having it while everybody else who's putting it into practice is getting some type of feedback and kickback, right? So you got magnets in your brain tissue, people. The magnetic nanoparticles are concentrated primarily in the cerebellum and brainstem, among the oldest parts of the organ. Interesting. But I went over this with my members a couple weeks back, dealing with the cerebellum and the whole process of what memory is, and how this is a key component to learning how to solidify what it is that you want to manifest, is actually getting the memory to settle in the cerebellum, right? But see, these waves, ladies and gentlemen, other animals with magnetite in their bodies use what? They use magnetic fields to pick up and travel upon lines of magnetic currents and to transfer information, to transfer data. You see? Over using waves. So when you're doing your visual work, you know what you're doing? You're activating different regions of your brain and you're strengthening your signals. right?
It don't work.
Okay. So I want to show y'all this, right? See, because we got it. This is where we're gonna have to start to ask some really serious questions, right? And you know, it's other studies, you know what I mean? And I just want to put the emphasis on the individual's ability to create a phenomenon, right? This is, and I'm almost at the end of it. You can pick it up in a moment, man. This is Pistol Pete Maravich, and I've showed this before, but this is one of the more awe-inspiring ones. Look at what Pistol Pete said in the interview. He said, "I don't want to play 10 years in the NBA and die of a heart attack at age 40." You know what happened to Pistol Pete? 14 years before dying of a heart attack at age 40 after 10 years in the NBA. Exactly what he spoke, he attracted directly to himself. See, because you got 4 major components to the law of attraction, one of them being language and words. So this is the phenomenon when people be like, oh, speak it into existence. Oh boy. So what's the odds of that? Tell me what's the odds of that? Right? 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 So tell me what's the odds of that, right? He got exactly what he put out, right? And then this happened too. This is from the Undefeated. Fiction predicts reality in novel about star athlete attending Howard. What follows was meant to inspire elite Black athletes to do what, Jew? Envision the possibilities of HBCUs. Oh, hold on one second, y'all. Hello? I'm on YouTube, babe. Can I call you right back? All right, okay. Right? So, fiction predicts reality in novel about star athlete attending Howard. So here's a gentleman who went to Howard. He wrote in this fictional piece, right? To move a star athlete, a 5-star recruit to come to Howard. And then look what happens, right? I need to make the HBCU movement real. 5-star recruit McCord Maker picks Howard over Kentucky and UCLA. So what's the odds? See, we got to master this thing to understand how it works, man. This is how the phenomenon, people are being moved under suggestion all the time. All the time, from the influence of somebody else's mind. Just like many will say, and it's true, that we're moving under the influence of the planetary host. But it don't stop there. This is why both of these things are true, right? Or you'll get something like this, DeBeer. A 2019 Project Runway contestant named COVID, who made masks, has people buzzing.
That's not funny.
During season 17 of the design show, COVID Kapoor designed a suit with an accompanying facial mask, which one Twitter user called predictive programming. That's for the rookies out there. And I'll let Noble tackle the predictive programming thing. Right? But see, man, observation is Lord. That's the Lord. That's the Lord. Back to the measurement problem. And boy, when you put attention on whatever it is being observed, man, listen. Humanity is at a very kindergarten place when it comes to understanding cause and effect. Real cause and effect. Okay? So I'm gonna end it with this. Because this is really like a walk in the park here. if you want to learn how to do this, man, you want to learn how to do this. Because let me tell you what these studies say. Somebody could talk to you, you may retain it at a 10% rate. You may even go to a lecture. They say even going to a lecture, you'll retain it at a 10% rate. If somebody puts it together for you in a demonstration, sort of like this, where you're seeing pictures and commentary, I think they said it increases to like 20% retention. If you start to do role playing, it increases by like 70%. But the number one way to retain this information and to put it into practice, they say, is through coaching. And I utilize the top two, which is teaching people how to visualize, which is essentially role playing to a degree, and coaching them up 4 or 5 times a month with this type of data. And these type of things happen. Ruby Red gets a check for $4,500. Somebody else get another check for $21,000. Somebody else hit the lottery for $7,000. Da 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 da. Right? I didn't listen. There's so many testimonials, man. I sometimes feel like, to be honest, I be feeling burdened trying to pick through which ones I want to use, bro.
Bro, it's so many. I don't even count no more.
The Beardo, he stopped counting.
I stopped counting when we got to like 3 to 4 million, right in that range. I just stopped counting. Like,
you know what I mean?
You know?
So somebody in the chat asking anybody to do it. Yes. If you got a limbic brain and your hippocampus is working, yes. Bottom line, yes. Now, it varies to the degree based upon the stuff that you got in your brain already. So that's why I tell people, when you coming around with trauma, see, Pooh been divorced himself from that, but he say, Jew, take it. I say, you got a problem, I send you to Jew. And I'm cool with it because I don't got no problem. I like to pick through it and figure out what happened. How can we get in here and figure it out? Right? I'm always looking to solve that type of problem. And so look, if you got, you got some traumas or some situations, things become a little bit more difficult because why? You got a lot of weeds and twigs in the garden of your subconscious mind. And you got somebody got to help you dig them out, pull them up so that you can plant some things down there in some really fertile, healthy soil to use as, I guess, as an analogy, right? But man, at the end of the day, man, they both true, man. Astrology and the law of attraction are both very real. And basically what separates the two is what is present in the person's environment and how are they observing what they are engaging in the environment to dictate some of the things that they can magnetize to themselves. So with that, man, visit the website, theimaginationguru.com. Membership tab is there. I got a bunch of downloads on the quantum download tab. Go over there and have yourself a party, man, and get forward with this data. So with that, man, I'm gonna pass it to you, DeBeer. How I do this, man?
I don't know. I think it's something that participants, and then you see my name and maybe hit.
Let's see.
Do
you need me to switch it over to you?
Yeah, I think you gotta like make me the host or something.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold
on. How y'all feel in the chat, man? Y'all good? let me check on y'all, see what y'all doing, man. Yeah, that was Ruby's initiation check. That's old work. That's 2015. That's like, and that was just simply on some gratitude shit that I had put together years ago. You know what I mean? That's 5 years old looking at that. You know what I'm saying? And she's in the chat. That's why she said it. Initiation check. You know what I mean? And this thing is
man, it's not allowing me to
beautiful conundrum. All right, where you at? Can you see my name?
Okay, I see it now. Make host.
Yeah, hit more or something like that. Hold on. All right, you are now the host. All right. All right, you can see me. I ain't sharing my screen though.
Yeah, I can see you, bro. Go ahead.
We'll stop the other person's share. Bam. Let me see something. All right. I ain't got. Can you see my screen now? He stepped away. All right. So let me say this real fast, y'all. Let me stop sharing my screen for a quick second. Let me go to YouTube, make sure we're good. All right. All right, so hold on, I'm looking at YouTube, so give me a minute. All right, there we go. All right, cool. All right, so here's the thing, ladies and gents. All right, so astrology is the study of planetary motions in conjunction with human behavior. Now, from the Nation of Islam standpoint, it is said that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the whole scope of Master Fard Muhammad's work was astronomy. I'll challenge that and say it's really astrology. See, somewhere what happened, and we can pretty much depict and know where it happened. It happened in the period of Inquisitions. It happened at the period of which is the Inquisition, when Christianity and Islam came to a war and certain information got suppressed. When you go to the Holy Quran, which I really call it the Cosmic Quran, because in that book you will have a chapter called the sun, the moon, the star, the stars, like this thing is talking about cosmic phenomenon. And so I'll tell you something why the work is really about understanding planetary motion in conjunction with human behavior. Because if we go to Surah 55, known as Al Rahman, the Beneficent, or really gracious, you would see that it says, he taught them how to distinguish. The sun and moon are perfectly calculated. The stars and the trees prostrate. Watch this. He constructed the sky and established the law. You shall not transgress the law. So wait a minute. If you're telling me that Allah created the sky and established the law, but I ain't to transgress the law, how can I transgress the sky? Tell me that. Riddle me that. How can I transgress the sky if the sky has the law? Okay. Now, let's go to a very sensitive topic, which is very important in the dynamics of relationships. It is called, we go to Surah 65, which is known as the divorce. I like to bring your attention that there are 12 verses inside of this particular chapter. In the very last chapter, the very last verse says, God created 7 universes and the same number of earths. The commands flow among them. Whoa. You have to stop playing with me. Wait a minute. First of all, I would think a topic such as divorce, the last verse will have to hold some serious weight because we're about to close this topic out. And you're going to tell me that there are 7 universes and 7 Earths. You're lying. What 7 Earths are you talking about? Clearly, you ain't talking about the planet Earth. There ain't 7 of those. And you're then going to tell me that the commands flow from among them. Why is that important to deal with the status of marriage? Why are commands from planetary energies important for marriages to understand? It's a question. So now, for those who may say, we don't study astrology, but you from the Islamic quote, and don't you dare be from the Nation of Islamic garment. You have a deep study to do, because this book, the Quran, is all about showing you cosmic phenomenon. Okay, so astrology we're going to define as planetary bodies, their motion, and the relationship to human behavior. See, the ology is the part that's missing from astronomy when you're just looking at the sun. Who gives a damn that the sun is just 93 million miles away from the earth? And okay, whoop-de-doo. That's it. You know what I'm saying? What purpose does that have? You understand what I'm saying? Oh, now we know that, okay, light travels at a certain speed. Oh, now we can see that in our reality, we can start to have some 4 seasons and whatnot. Oh, it starts to make sense. You're not going to tell me that the seasons don't affect behavior. There's a whole diagnosis of something called SAD. Seasonal, what is it? Seasonal. It's a seasonal disorder in the sense that people get sad because of, the light of the sun and whatnot. When they get cold, they get depressed, basically. Okay. So we know that planetary bodies have an effect on human affairs. That's simple. I can give you case study after case study and show you prediction after prediction that I done made publicly on the record. But I don't even feel like going through that because y'all already know, if you hear, we didn't already establish that. Now, attraction, I'm going to define as when the idea becomes reality. That's simple. When the idea becomes reality. A little bit more so when the idea starts to manifest itself as the reality coming towards you. What I mean is, whether you thinking about, you're thinking about a G-Wagon, then the G-Wagon pops up beside you. You're thinking about the Hellcat, then the Hellcat get on the highway. Just as you get on the highway, a Hellcat go right past you. We're talking about when the reality of what you thinking starts to come into your vision. Okay? When it starts to manifest itself all the way to the delivery point, that is what I'm going to call attraction. I don't know how anybody else define it, but I'm going to define it as simple as that. Okay? Now, here's the question. And I don't have no long dissertation. This shit is not hard. You know what I mean? It's just basic common sense. Can thoughts affect reality? Can thoughts affect mechanical devices that don't have a brain? Can you affect, machines? So I'll give you a case study. Where that PDF at? Let me share my screen, y'all. I'll give you a case study from that's what it is, seasonal affectionate disorder, right? I'll share my screen, give y'all this case study that they did. Here we go. All right. Now this is from the Journal of Scientific Exploration, Volume 9, published in 1995. Psychokinetic action of young chicks, just some little chickens, little baby chicks, okay, to see if they could affect a robot that had a candlelight on it, okay? So, an initial experiment, we established that young chicks aged from 1 to 7 days could what? Attract towards them a robot controlled by a random generator. And we subsequently developed this research further with the use of a conceptually new machine. And they start getting into it. It then goes on further to say, it was found that the Tychoscope spent 2.5 times longer on the half of the surface closer to the chicks compared to its motion when the cage was empty. So in other words, what they did was they had some baby chickens and they said, hey, we're going to introduce you to this robot. Because usually the first thing that they see will be associated with survival, which will be mommy. And they took these baby chickens and will allow them for the first 7 days of their life to spend a certain amount of time with the robot. And then they put the chickens in the cage. And then when the robot was moving all around randomly, the baby chickens are crying for the robot. And the robot appeared on the side of the cage 2.5 times longer than the other side that did not have baby chickens. Then it goes on to say, using chicks that had not been conditioned to adopt the robot as their mother, the robot moved in this normal random motion. It seemed, therefore, that the effect of the robot, the Tychoscope, depended more on the conditioning of the baby birds than on some common biological mechanism. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you what they're really saying here. What do you mean it's seen therefore that the effect on the robot comes more from the conditioning of the baby bird? In other words, the mind and the perception is very important in order to affect this thing. Now, let me go find something for you, because you may say, okay, that's a little strange. What is it? Oh, I got it on this computer. Here we go, right here. I actually got two of these. Let me go back to my screen share here. Okay. So if you saw chickens affect a freaking robot, I'll show you some work I did back in 2014 where you can look at this and you can see where, again, I have a bill for $69.08. Payment 0. I have new charges for exactly $69.08 again. You owe me a total of $138.16. And then it's due on 11/22/2014. So then I get the next bill. They're like, hey, the previous balance of $138.16 is still due. Payment, first arrow, what did it say? 0. We receive no money from you. New charges minus $138.16. Total amount due, 0. How can you get a minus $138.16, but yet you saying I paid you 0? Then you say I owe you 0, and then you say payment due by there's no payment due. So again, I always like to say, back then I was heavy in my Kabbalah game, super duper duper heavy. And I'm like, oh, I know what this is. I know how to figure this out. 138.16. I'm born on the 16th. 138. Oh, 138 is being Elohim, son of God. Now I ain't here to tell you that. All right, not at this time. I'm not going to tell you that. But I do know this. I do know that my mama name means friend of God. And I do know that the name she goes by, which is her middle name, is Angela, which is an angel. I do know that. She's the only one that got the weird name of a friend of God. She don't even use it, so I don't reveal it. A friend of God, but yet it's telling me when I see this, like, oh, and guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I ain't bullshitting you. My mama's birthday is 11/22. That's her birthday. And I said, oh, but see, let me tell you something. There's a movie on Netflix dealing with 11/22 because that's the time John F. Kennedy got killed. So when you deal with those numbers, 11s and 22s and shit like that, they're talking about a sequence. Jew 11:11. There's books written on 11, the 11:11 phenomenon. You're talking about a sequence of things of consciousness that's opening up within yourself. You understand what I'm saying? And so, listen, if you can affect, baby chickens can affect a robot, and we can affect, and I just showed you, we can affect machines. That's cakewalk in the mind of God. If they tell you that God is within you, that's easy. All things is possible. This ain't hard. This ain't hard. Listen, all electricity produces magnetism.
That's right.
Right. So if you got magnetite in the brain, right? You got these things in your tissue. If you are made of electricity, and I know when I take my coat off or something, and I put it like, I be seeing the blue electrical static charge be coming through. I always say it. You pass out and call the paramedics, they're gonna come and they're gonna juice you up. Charge, boom, hit you with electricity. So electricity produces magnetism. So if you are an electromagnetic being, and you are, then how can't the law of attraction, which that's what magnets do, how can't you draw something to you? See, this is what we got to get to. All right. So we got a problem in astrology, a big problem. See, you're going to have to rectify what I call the real twin paradox. And I got this from experience. Fuck the theory, homie. Experience. Meaning, I got twin daughters, man. One's passed and one is here. I got twin cousins, 2 different realities, right? So what happens when you have people who were born, obviously, on the same day at the same time, but they got 2 different realities? Now, is the craft bogus? Because to the outsider, it's going to look like, yo, that shit's bogus. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Look at Michael Jordan. His birthday the same day as my birthday. Man, I ain't Michael Jordan. Right? Come on, man. So now that means when you look at this twin paradox, that means that, hey, I say it like this. This person got a stellium in the sixth house, which they say is your day-to-day job. And let's just say the sixth house deals with health, because it does. This person says they are a holistic practitioner. That's what they into, right? That's more of your Virgo energy, sixth house. And then this other person is a stellium in the 10th house, the twin. Or, they got a stellium in the 10th house. A stellium means 3 or more planets, okay? But this twin, let's say the 10th house deals with government. This twin, like, yo, no, I work for the government. I don't deal with that health stuff. My day-to-day work is inside of government. That's what I do. So now what happens is the chart in of itself are really just showing you options, because every single planet is a representation of the mental faculty. Bingo. Just look at them. Bingo. Just look at them. Look, Mars, your ability to fight in anger and rage and passion and sex. Okay, that's a perception that I have. Venus, beautiful women. God damn it, what I call beautiful may not be the same thing you call beautiful. What are you talking about? Right? Marriage. Oh, I still have to get married and think that this person is beautiful and things of that nature, right? Saturn, discipline, success, hard work. I have to make those decisions. Pluto, sex, and like, come on. All of these things are different aspects of the human psyche.
That's right.
That's what it is, man. So now what happens is one twin can be on this particular aspect and this twin can be on that particular aspect. You understand what I'm saying? Because these are just different options within the human being. And guess what? We all make up cosmic man and we all make up cosmic woman. Now, however, there will be a little bit more of a more predominant in the sense of a choice that you may make, leaning towards the position of where the planets are at. For fact. See, here's the thing, and here's the question that Drew raises. Well, shit, man. If this thing is if it's fixed, if destiny is fixed, what? And I ain't gonna say it ain't fixed. I already talked about this before. But if it's fixed, then why give a reading? It ain't shit you can do about it.
Thank you.
It's nothing you can do about it. It's a done deal.
That's right.
What's the purpose of giving the reading?
Why get somebody a heads up, De Beer?
You can't. The only reason you should, and you're implying, is you can circumvent that.
Thank you. If it's a Mars square coming, right, to a natal Mercury, and you tell a person, hey, look, be careful. You don't want to get into any verbal altercations. It can get physical. Or you could be rolling and you catch a tire flat, or it could be worse. It could be a car accident and somebody can get hurt. Somebody can get burned, some scars, whatever, right? If you're reading that and you see that and you tell the individual, you need to be on the lookout, or, basically what you're saying is you're giving me an alley-oop and a heads up so that I can be aware of how to potentially sidestep these issues.
That's right.
So you're still pointing a person back to their mental faculties of awareness.
Yep.
You're not going to get away from that.
Yep.
Otherwise, what do I need you for? Mercury square Mars, it's a car accident, car crash. Okay, well, let me just go through the car crash then.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If it's just really that, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And we know it's not, because everybody don't have that same experience when that transit come around. Even the individual. So, for example, God rest the dead. If Kobe Bryant had Mars in the sky would square his Mercury, or Mercury square Mercury, I think it was at that time, right? Do you know that's a phenomenon that happened every single year? Every year that happens. Every single year, Mercury in the sky is in that same position where it was when Kobe Bryant died in the helicopter crash. Now, Mercury square Mercury represent potential issues in travels, okay? Now, why didn't it happen any other previous year or a year before that, or whatever the case may be. See, it doesn't happen every single time. So now we have to lend credence to, okay, maybe perhaps what you said about the environment and perceptions of things just may hold some particular weight here. You understand what I'm saying? See, man, listen, man. It is just not, to me, it's just not all that deep. You know,
Listen,
we complicate this thing.
Listen, they took some worms or something. It may have been some scorpion. I can't remember the exact animal.
Mm-hmm.
But this particular animal or insect had a gene that allowed it to be bioluminescent, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this particular worm had been in a colder environment, and its ancestors had been in a colder environment for many years.
Mm-hmm.
So they say, okay, let's take them out of the environment and let's place them in a warmer climate.
Mm-hmm.
When they placed them in a warmer climate, that gene got activated and he became bioluminescent.
Mm-hmm.
Then they took him back out of that environment and put him back in his old environment, and he stayed bioluminescent, even though he was placed back in his former environment. See, what is going on in and around us that we're interacting with, that we're becoming entangled with in this process of decoherence?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
That is what's going to give us a particular idea of how a certain situation will blossom. So when you go back and you read the first chapter of Psalms, it tells you, man, you know, meditate on these things day and night. See, it is what you are making an observation of on a regular basis that will determine how the chips and the dominoes fall predominantly for you in your circumstance and situation, man.
And I'll say, here's the key. We talked about it earlier, y'all. And I'm gonna show y'all some slides too, because y'all want to know what makes rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes. I'm gonna show you this right in a second. Listen, man, y'all have to stay in this position known as metacognition. It's when you observe yourself, observing yourself. It's very important to be, because see, when you hear, man, listen, this is the heavenly abode, because now you understand that all incoming stimuli, whether it's sound, whether it's memory, whether it's touch, whatever it may be, whether it's a physical event, whether you see something, you have to understand that your brain, particularly the amygdala, is watching your perception. Because the moment that you say, spider, and run, he got you. He just stamped that spider into the memory as a negative classification. So once you get to this particular point of consciousness, meaning awareness, you don't even classify shit as negative no more, because you understand the impact of what negativity does to your biology. You start to have problems, stress, disease, and things of that nature. Go ahead, Drew.
Bobby tried to put folks up on that game a long time ago. Well, how Bobby used to be, everything's good. It's all right. Everything's good.
That's right. That's right.
Right? Because he was trying to put you in a place of ultimate control.
That's right.
That's really what that was about.
You have to get to this point where you know that your brain is watching how you, or watching is really taking an order from you. It ain't watching you. Your brain is ready for your command based upon your perception. Okay. All right. Now, I'm gonna show you something real fast. All right. See, you're gonna have to show some work. And I ain't gonna even get into no gangster shit. Cops getting shot. who shot you.
No.
I ain't gonna even get into that. I want to talk about earthquakes, ladies and gents. So here's an earthquake. Let's go in on that. Okay. You can see that I took to Twitter on March the 2nd, and I had told Tim Cook, which is the CEO of Apple, I told Google, hey, there's going to be an earthquake on March the 3rd through 5th, right in that little pocket. I went on March the 2nd, a day early, and March the 2nd, it actually hit when it came. It hit a little early, a couple hours after I posted, and it was a big one at 7.8, okay? But I told them, hey, within these next couple days, it looked like it's going to hit, so it came a day early. So you may say, oh, no, well, you did that shit after the fact, man. You missed it. Okay, I can go there. I'll take you to a Japan earthquake. Now, this one is actually on Twitter. It's a little distorted here, but on YouTube, if you go to December 24th of 2015, you'll see a video right here on YouTube that I said Nostradamus, November 2015 prophecies, right? And I named a couple rappers. And you see that date right there. And listen, it was actually October the 24th that I posted. Go look on YouTube, go all the way down to October the 24th. I gave a October report, in a November report, when you're likely to see these things. And in November, I gave November the 13th through the 15th. Okay? And then the 26th through the 28th. Don't you know when November 13th got here? I'm a whole month ahead of time. When November the 13th got here, what happened? Japan had an earthquake, and they was saying it was a 7.0, and they was saying, shit, tsunami warning coming. Okay? All right. Here's another Japan earthquake. What about October the 16th? You can see that one clear. I said, yo, Microsoft, Google, Apple, it's going to be an earthquake. You see the name earthquake. You see it right there in my post. From October the 19th, the 20th, and 21st, within this 3-day window, in a couple days coming up, which is about 3 days from now, there's going to be an earthquake. And on October 21st, dead on the last day I said it was going to happen, an earthquake hit. Exactly to the day. Man, listen, you can probably see some of these things, airplane crashes, school shootings, man, the big boys, like, this is, the Charleston, South Carolina. Look it up. You see it clear as day. On June 8th, I was telling Russell Simmons and Snoop Dogg, yo, y'all mess with the spiritual stuff, right? Snoop Dogg was on he was Snoop Lion back then. He was going through a transformation, beautiful transformation. Hey, 615, 616, 617, we're going to see a major act of domestic violence. Don't you know when June 17th got here, what happened? Charleston church shooting happened. Go Google today. You see me. That's on June 8th, I told them. Okay? Man, listen, man. The information that we got, man, I can go on to show you the police getting robbed. All right? Because there's a certain frequency that deals with your thoughts that we didn't figured it out clearly. So to me, we can this is a thing. Some shit we'll tell you if it's just a theory. Like, hey man, we got an idea. Okay, it's a theory. We'll tell you that. But some things we know as actual fact and can't be disputed. How you gonna dispute that when we got timelines and you seeing people with checks and we come in with precise science of days and telling you the precise thing or what's gonna happen and it happened to the day? How you gonna dispute that, man? Huh? See, the astrology I'm rocking with, can't dispute that. And I'm gonna tell you something. NASA don't even know it. NASA rocket Antares exploded one of those years, like 2015 or something. Go look it up. It was October 28th. NASA rocket Antares exploded. That was a day that I said airplanes is likely to crash on this particular day. Don't put nothing up in the air like that because it's likely to come down. Okay? So I ain't even trying to hear that NASA and all them on super science. They ain't on this. All right?
Hey, De Beer.
Yo.
Could you switch it back over to me? I want to get a little preview, man, of something right quick, man. Let me see.
There you go.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so here we go again, Joe. We're gonna share. Can you see my screen, the beer?
Yep.
What you see, man?
Yep. The preview of the book.
Okay, let me see here. So look, y'all, listen. I'm in the process of finishing up this book, man. I just want to show y'all how we doing over here. Hip hop laws of attraction. Can we really speak it into existence, right? So where can I start here, man? So you can see I got some quotes, right? I say, this is Albert Einstein. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world, right? So then I say, you see, it's some kind of mystic power that exists inside the principle of imagination. We can create whatever we want in this realm of mind. We are not limited to what seems reasonable. So Mark 11:24 was pushing us to an understanding that by holding the goal or ideal in the mind, even though we don't possess it yet, we will if we remain faithful to the goal or desire in our heart. So for those that don't know Mark 11:24, they tell you what, to pray, when you pray as though you've already received it, and so you shall, right? And so in this book, for those that don't know, that may not know, I've been writing this piece, I'm taking neuroscience, hip hop, scripture, and I'm blending it into a beautiful work so that people who are interested in these different fields of study can see them all converge into a singular point where it all makes sense together, right? So then you see here, I say visualization is a major key in implementing this type of instruction that was given to us in scripture. So where do we see these rappers talking like this, right? Look what Jeezy said. He said, then I memorize and I fantasize, then I visualize. All through hip hop, right? What Memphis Bleak say, De Beer? Bleak say, man, I go to sleep with a picture of a Porsche on my wall, right? Man, I'm trying to come up on y'all. Drake tell you the power of the mind is not a joke. So I'm just taking all these different hip hop lyrics, y'all, and you can see at the bottom, I got my little footnotes where I go into the actual case study because I'm putting all that in the book. I ain't gonna leave no stones unturned. You're gonna have some references to be able to go check the neuroscience of what I'm saying. Check me out. Fact check me. Make sure you ain't telling you no story. Right? It's gonna be dope, man. Super duper dope, bro.
Yep.
Super dope.
That's what we on, man. That's what we on.
Let me see. Let me go back. I'm gonna pass it back to the beer. I just wanted to give y'all a quick preview on that. It's back to you, De Beer?
Yeah. I got it, man.
Got it?
So listen, man, we'll go through some Q&A and I'll show y'all this real fast, man. I am spending majority of my time because I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. You're going to go through the evolution of consciousness and you're going to figure it out. And you know what you're going to figure out? You're going to figure out that, wait a minute, my observation and my dedication to it is the chief controller. And then this is what your epiphany is going to be. And it's really simple. I don't know how we missed it. I'm creating my reality. I have the power to create my reality. Then you're going to look around you and you may realize that you don't like your situation. And then you're going to say, well, shit, if I'm God, then I should be able to create abundance. And I ain't talking the philosophical shit. I'm talking the physical abundance. Okay? And so then some of you may go on that journey because, see, I'm going to tell you something when you start dealing with money. It's very quantifiable. We can measure how much money you got in your account, nigga. It's real simple. What you got, okay? And so when you get there, let's team up. Because for me, I had to make a turn. Like Drew said earlier, I had to literally divorce myself from the traumas, okay? I don't want to deal with problems. Don't call me with no fucking problems. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not in that space right now. I got my own problems. You understand what I'm saying? I got some own things that I'm actually overcoming in a sense, so I can get to where I'm going. My problem ain't really a problem. It's okay, how do I get that for the next piece of the puzzle? Okay. And so this is what I've been able to build literally in the last few years. And everything that you see on here besides two literally manifested themselves this year. Okay. And I'm talking actual physical properties. Add the value up of all of them, and we got a very pretty nice penny. You can do the same. So as we was in the pre-show talking earlier, me and Pronefi asked me about some things called subject to. This house right here called Ash is subject to. It's a technique that you can use that you can acquire some real estate. Listen, man, I was able to tell my kids with this particular picture that you see, my two youngest, 14 and 13. And I'm telling them, I said, listen, these two, one is yours and one is yours. You don't have to live there. If you want to, you can. But know that this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm spending my time doing. Is securing your future. So while you had a nice family vacation with family and you plan, this is what dad's doing and why I wasn't on vacation, because I'm securing your future. So just in case you need a place to stay, you can have a place to stay rent free. And if you don't want to stay there, that's fine. Because guess what? The people are going to pay you to live there, and you keep these. You understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about creating generational wealth. Challenge yourself to see if you can create generational wealth. Come on down here on this earth plane and get busy. Okay. And this one right here, my last slide I'm going to show you is the apartment building that we own. And I'm actually dedicating the space. I'm calling it the Success Incubator, meaning I'm going to take this apartment and I'm giving it to about 3 millennials, or Generation Z, as they call it. 3 tops, where they come inside this apartment right here. And it's a 2-bedroom. I throw 2 beds and 2 twin beds in the big bedroom and 1 bed in the smaller bedroom. And we're going to build. I'm going to show them how to build real estate, build their own portfolio. Any deal that they get, we're going to split it 50-50. I don't want no employees. We're going to split it, get them on their path, then show them how to build their own portfolio for themselves and do deals. And then at the same time, we're going to use this living room as a digital media studio. So you're going to see in the future, myself doing broadcasts from this location, Jew coming down, everybody, people, we start doing our thing. You're going to start seeing production coming from here. And guess who's going to be there? Generational Z must have a little aspect and have their hand into the digital media production aspect as well. And then we're going to spend time working on their dreams, whatever that may be, helping them fulfill it and whatnot. So I got a whole apartment building that I'm literally about to start dedicating, and we're going to go slow, nice and steady, and we're going to win the dang on race, man. And just to give you some insight on my style, this sofa is delivering in 3 weeks. That's my style right there, Jew. You know what I mean? We got that bad boy coming in, LED, the USB hookup and stuff in the couch. It's lovely. You know what I mean? And so that's what we doing, man. That's what we doing over here. You can get to me, theprosperityinvestmentgroup.com, theprosperityinvestmentgroup.com. And guess what? Click on the Family Wealth Club, man. This is my thing, Jew. See, if you got, call it for what it is. It's gonna tell on you. So you can hide all you want to, but I'm gonna tell you something, man. If you got children, I'm telling you, you're doing a great. We are doing a great disservice if we don't set them up, and they do us. If what my parents did, a majority of my comrades, what happened to us was our parents wasn't in a situation where they put us on and we walked into an already existing successful module. They didn't open up the trade line for us and be like, here, son, before you even get out of high school, I'm gonna let you what they call it, you import the credit. I'm gonna make you
make you a
authorized user.
Authorized user, yeah.
I'm gonna make you an authorized user on my credit profile. Therefore, before you even get out of high school, you got good credit. I'm gonna show you the game on XYZ, and this is how you gonna win. So I'm just at that point now with my son. My oldest son is 22, and I'm like, listen, bro, come here. I got you. You're gonna come stay here in the incubator. So that's one. So you gonna come stay in the incubator, and you ain't gotta worry about no rent. You just gonna feed yourself, and you're gonna pay these little light bill and this gas bill. You got that, but you ain't gonna have to worry about the rent. And we about to build something. Trust me when I tell you, we gonna do this.
Listen, man,
that's what we own, man.
I just ordered my 11-year-old son his first debit card, man.
Mm-hmm.
And gonna teach him how to stack his bread.
That's right.
Cause Tauntaun on his paper.
Oh man, he be on it.
He be on his paper.
Mr.
11 years old, be having a stash, yo.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
A stash.
Mm-hmm.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. But yeah, what y'all got in the chat? What's happening? What y'all got going on? What's happening?
We appreciate y'all coming out tonight too, man. To come kick it with us. You know.
Yeah.
We've been a little bit more visual over the last couple months. It's been fun too, man. Been cool kicking it with the folks.
Yeah.
Somebody what they call me, the beer. The minister's crazy.
Oh yeah. That's funny as hell. Hey, I gotta find that quote in the Quran. They say it in the Quran. They be like intelligent but crazy.
Crazy. Yeah.
You know, like man, he's smart, but that nigga crazy. You know. Yeah, man. Hey, man. So, y'all stay by your email list because me and Ruby, we had a vision board thing coming up this Sunday, but I gotta reroute that. We gotta reroute that because the freaking website was tripping, man. So, you know, people are just crazy. They create malware, and the Mac site I got away from because I wasn't on the astrology game like that, so I didn't have certain protections on that site to basically run security on it constantly. And so some of our sites that we don't use no more got infected and it took our sites down. So where I had that particular option for you to join us in this upcoming visualization is down. It's back up, but a portion of it's down and it's getting worked on now. So just stay by your email and I'm going to do something real super sweet for you. Probably going to be like a $19.99 special for you to get in and you can do a group visualization because we're at a very critical point in the sense one of the high points dealing with the winter solstice. And we right around the corner from New Year's, which is a whole nother alignment and whatnot. So you want to join the mailing list if you haven't already. And those mailing lists could be, you know, you can go over to The Imagination Guru, go to the website, you'll see an opt-in, myastrologycoach.com. The Prosperity Investment Group. You would click on newsletter and you can opt in. So if you didn't get that massive email that we sent out today via Constant Contact, you're not on the email list. Okay. So you want to get on the email list. Again, you can go to The Prosperity Investment Group, click on newsletter, and it'll opt you in. That way, when we put the vision board thing together, once I get the site straight, you'll be able to get that particular email and you can join us. All right. But yeah, what y'all got in the chat? What's happening?
They say they just chilling, man. They appreciating the vibes, man. We appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah.
Man, look, man, go follow me on Instagram, man. The Imagination Guru, Minister Jew on Instagram. You like some of this content tonight? It's plenty of this over there. A lot of testimonials from people, man. Some people in the audience tonight. You know, I don't never cap, sugarcoated. Whatever come to me, that's what I send out to the people. Y'all see it, read it, and weep, man. People are having experiences, man. This thing is very, very real. And as Ampu always says, if you can formulate you a wealth vehicle and attach these principles to your wealth vehicle, sky's the limit, you know?
That's where it's at. That's where it's at. That's where it's at, man. So any question? Minister Jew, are you still having quantum scripture classes? I don't see it on your website.
Who is that? CC? What's going on, CC? I see you out there. What we did was a couple months back, we decided to consolidate the memberships because I was doing a whole lot of stuff a month. I think I was doing like 8 calls. And I said, man, I can condense that where I'm not so busy all the time where I can't get to members when they call in or they got personal issues, et cetera, et cetera. And so what we did was we still doing quantum scriptures, but we morphed that and merged it into the quantum imaging membership. So once a month, we'll have a webinar, where we tackle scripture. I'll pick a passage out, and we'll do some esoteric Bible decoded type stuff where we'll just go through different passages and give people the true understanding and meaning of what was being presented in the parable or the allegory or the metaphor. But it's now part of the premium membership. So it used to be two separate in fact, it used to be three separate memberships, right? It used to be quantum imaging, quantum scriptures, and quantum healing. But we reduced it down to one, quantum imaging, which is the premium membership, and we still do the quantum scriptures classes inside of the premium membership. So if you're interested in getting some of that game, you have to join the premium membership. And we on about 4 or 5 times every month, guided visualizations as a group, 2 webinars, conference call, and anytime I do public webinars or webinars for the public, excuse me, all of my members have access for free. And it's free of charge if you guys want to attend when I'm doing something for the public. You have open access line to me. You can call me. We can chat, talk about whatever your situation is. You know, all the calls are always recorded. They usually go out 24 to 48 hours after the call is over, just in case you missed a live call or webinar. So you never miss anything. And we got what we had to be about 14, 15 techniques for the year.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And so every month you get something new to add to your quantum tool belt to go along with your, with your purpose for coming in. Because we always ask people, what's your purpose for coming in? And we kind of build from there, man. So, and we're doing something new in 2021. I'm glad now making me talk about some of the stuff we got coming up. We're doing something called quantum quadrants, where I'm going to be taking people by the region, Midwest, South, East Coast, West Coast, and going to be putting people in groups. And I'm going to allow people in their region to utilize these principles together so that we can amplify results for one another. You know what I mean? And it's going to be dope, man. So that's something new that we got coming up in 2021.
Yeah. Have either of you seen the 12 Disciples of Man lecture by Dr. Khalid Muhammad? It relates to 12 disciples as being the faculties of the mind. I haven't seen that. That's funny. I was kind of in the neighborhood though, because the other day I was dealing with Mother Tainetta Muhammad, peace be upon her, the 10th system in the brain and how that related to these 10 ministries within the Nation of Islam. But I'm gonna have to check that out, bro. I've never seen that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that, that's a dope interpretation, though. I'm sure it is. You know what I mean? Khalid was on science, man,
Oh yeah,
and reeling it back in and let you know that God is within you. It ain't some, not what we perceive it to be outside of ourselves, but we do know this: there's intelligence all around us, in us and around us. You know what I mean? And so we just got to learn how to make use. I call it like this: like, you the chef, man. You could be you a master chef in the kitchen, right? But you still can't make nothing unless you got the proper ingredients. And what we do know, at least consciously, we can't remember putting atoms in the environment, right? Putting photons in the environment. But these are the things that is being used to build everything. So in order to be a master chef, right, you got to still be able to use the ingredients that are available to you to get down in the kitchen. And so once you get that figured out, man, you be pulling from top shelf, right? Or from wherever you're at in your mind at that time until you can reach that level of, you know what, I can do better than this. You know what I mean? And you start to utilize it from that point, man. So I could definitely see how Khalid was making that parallel between the mind being the actual disciples and learning how to discipline different aspects of your mind to have a certain situation, change for you or move in a different direction,
Yeah, all day. All day.
What else they got in here to be?
When is that? April. Let me see something. June. Was it June? Or May this year? June 27. No, they didn't lock up then. So what y'all want, that conjunction? Man, yeah, there's a whole video on the channel that deals with the conjunction. Saturn and Jupiter together. They've been together all year. You know what I mean? They've been very close to each other all year. You know what I mean? If you go back to ephemeris, I'm looking in right now. Let me see. I think especially in, what was it? Like March. In March, we had like at one point in time, they was only like 6 degrees away from each other. So they've been rolling together all year. But it's just a big noise now that, they both at 0 degrees, when they finally catch up to each other. It really depends. It really depends on your own personal energy, in my opinion. You know what I mean? What you got going on in your own chart, meaning where the planets are located at in your own chart, and what ray of light, what position is that for you, because that's going to denote it's going to just denote certain things and whatnot. So you got to be on your game, man. One thing that we got is, only for $19.99 a month. You know what I mean? If you go to myastrologycoach.com and you just click on the basic report, I call that the cosmic insurance thing. I like to just focus on 3 things, man: the expansion of money, balancing relationships and being great in them, and then also making sure ain't no code red creeping up on that ass. You know what I mean? And it's only $19 a month. So if you come in, then what happens is I give you the next month report on the last day of the current month. That way you have a whole complete outline of what's happening. So if that Jupiter Saturn conjunction in the sky is doing something to your personal chart, it's going to show up in that report. And then when I send you the report, I'll email you an overview of what to expect for the month and a technique that you can do for the month. You understand what I'm saying? So if you got money, you may have a super duper money alignment coming up. You know what I mean? This is the time that you want to be in that wishing well technique. You want to be in that golden forest technique. You want to be in the family vault technique. You want to be in a certain mind state, you know what I mean, for sure, to tap the wave. And see, that's the beauty about it, right? Because see, here's the thing, man. Somebody can win the lottery today, but they may not go play the lottery. You understand what I'm saying? But they may can win the lottery today. So I can tell somebody, yo, go play. It's the best time, but they may be like, oh no, I'm cool. I don't feel like it, and don't do nothing. You understand what I'm saying? And then
why is that, De Beer?
Man,
I'm gonna tell y'all. This is why. This is why you have to learn how to take manual control. See, that person is not motivated to go do that because they're not holding certain visions, like the book of Habakkuk says, De Beer, right? Or is that where there's no vision? That might be Proverbs.
That's Proverbs, yeah.
Right? Where there's no vision, the people perish, right? So here's what happens. So what he's giving you is some sound advice, right? About how to appropriate things in your mind according to what may be going on at a particular time. Because that's going to motivate you to act. It's going to motivate you to move. So, and the neuroscience behind it is, whenever you hold in a vision in your Olympic system, your Olympic brain, that electrical current gets shot to the frontal lobes, which is the planning center, right? The CEO of the brain, and it stimulates and activates the motor cortex too, which is all about movement and motion. So when you're holding certain things in the mind, it starts to it's like you literally begin to program yourself to act. But if you don't have, if you don't have anything to motivate you, this is why people look for inspiration all the time. They're looking for something to make them act, to move, to get going, right? Some presence to activate a goal or a desire. So, if you're not holding anything valuable in your mind, or seeing yourself in a certain light in your own mind, you'll never be motivated to do nothing. You know?
Right. That's right. That's right. Oh, rich wealthy. Man, I'm glad you said that. You triggered that. Rich wealthy. Cerebral spinal fluid in your spine rises to the brain and stays there for 2.5 days every month when the moon is in your sun sign. I'm glad you said that because you know the planetary energies as taught from the Yogananda and them, certain planets spin off negative radiations, but we're taught that all of these energies are within the spinal cord. And this is why in the technique of Kriya Yoga, it is very important to do what they call magnetize, very interesting, magnetize the spine. And when you magnetize the spine and you do these certain techniques, which you need to do, Baba said it like this, Baba being Hari Nanda. He said, the real fire ceremony is not you outside at a fire pit chanting. The real fire ceremony is the carbon inside of your body that's going through this combustion, okay? And then what needs to happen is you are releasing and purifying the internal self of the negative, pretty much the negative planetary rays that's within the body. See, remember, you hear our voice right now, which means waves just entered through your ear canal. When you have sight, you see something, right? That's nothing more than light waves hitting the occipital nerve and then traveling back to the region of the occipital lobe in the back of the brain. And then that information actually goes through different regions of your brain. So that's just light of the sun that you can see. And you can hear sound waves. So what happens is planetary energy comes into our field. It comes within our being and we take it in. So now we got scrambled signals because that signal may not be harmonious for you at this particular time. It may be harmonious, it may not be. So this is why certain practices have to be done in order for you so you won't resonate that particular signal. This is why I tell you when it's a cold red technique, yo, you better, if you got some steam, you better blow it off and you better blow it off quick. And I ain't talking about ignoring that shit either. I'm talking about you better get it out. Because man, that signal that you potentially may be emitting in correspondence with see, this thing is all about, it's the easiest thing in the world to us because it's like, yo, each energy has a polarity. It has an extreme, what we would call negative, and the extreme positive. You understand what I'm saying? And so now, if you resonating with the extreme negative side of that particular quality, then that thing is likely to happen. It's really that simple. You know what I mean? This shit ain't hard. You know what I'm saying? Stay in your square, man. Stay in your game.
Now we've touched on this in the past. We had a dual series we had going on called the Inner and the Outer Mysteries, where I would cover the inner phenomenon and Noble will cover the outer phenomenon to give people a well-rounded view of actually what is going on in relationship to what the gentleman just mentioned about that cerebral fluid. I've seen multiple yogis where when they're going through that experience, you mentioned this fluid or this kundalini presence within the being, right? Really what's going on is, like Noble mentioned, this combustion, this fire. What's happening is in these moments of what they are calling enlightenment or, kundalini rising, what's really happening is when those electrical currents go and sit in the brain, it's moving around and it has different thresholds that it's moving through, right? According to what? That person's environment. So some people, when they're going through that phenomenon, right, and it's not going to waste because they've been doing certain practices, as Noble just mentioned, they'll have experiences where what? They're able to see on other planes of existence. Yeah. That's one phenomenon. That's when that cerebral fluid or electricity spills out in the frontal lobe. Some people, right, it may spill out in the parietal lobe, and then you get people who start to walk around and do what? Able to lay hands on people and healing folks with their hands.
Yep.
Right? So it's a whole science to that, man. You know what I mean? In relationship to what happens when that energy is utilized properly. You start to do, you know, otherworldly things. And I got a gang of case studies on that too to show how the electrical current is actually moving around in there at these particular times. So it ain't a mystery. You know what I mean? It's just rare that people are disciplined enough to actualize that potential within them when these particular cycles and phenomenon is happening in their body. So that was really was a great question.
Facts, man. Facts. Man, I'm with you, Rich Wealthy, man. That's a good Swami Vivekananda. That I believe it. You know what I mean? If you can abstain and do that. But I definitely know that we was just having this conversation the other day that, you know, I elect the tantric path, meaning that the partner path of love and sexual transmutation in order to get to higher consciousness. I don't necessarily want to, not right now where I'm at. I don't want to be celibate for 12 years to have an extra nerve come on in my brain, because that means the potential is there. So what happens is, if you know the potential is there, then you can direct the current via belief to activate, and imagination to activate. What happens is, and why I love, because sex is just beautiful anyway, we don't stay engaged and interlocked long enough for the brain to start to cook up different chemicals. We just don't stay in it long enough. You understand what I'm saying? It's usually, you know, bang, 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 and bust off and you finish, go to sleep, right? If you stay in it with a different intention, you understand what I'm saying, then that will easily awaken the energy within, because we know it's an awakening process when you're in that particular act. And so I'm going to elect the tantric path to get to that other nerve. I'm an 8th house nigga, you know. Hell no, it ain't happening. You know what I mean? No sir. You know. But man, cool, man. Cool. Anybody got anything? Anything? No, I don't want to be a monk yet. Not yet. It's coming in my latter days. You know what I'm saying? When I put that house up in the mountains.
Hey, and we talked about that earlier, De Beer. Didn't we just talk about that?
Yeah.
The decoherence and the coherence. See, that's really what the monastery is all about.
Yeah.
The monastery is so that you can break away from the decoherence and static in the environment and put yourself in a place where people are on the same wavelength and you are sharing the same information. Which makes it much more difficult for decoherence to happen in your environment. So this is why these groups, this is really one of the big reasons why I did this 2021 quadrant, manifestation quadrants, because I know the power of the group. You know what I'm saying? People who are on the same thing, feeling the same way, exercising the same principles, the phenomenon is going to be in alignment. So when you read in different places in scripture where 2 or more agree,
it must be. Right.
Must be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. So man, Rich Wealthy, man, you saying some stuff, man. It's really triggering me. You know, the 1%, man, I was gonna talk about that in another dialogue, but I'm glad you brought that up. You know, I'm talking about now there's something in real estate known as the 1% rule, where if you buy a property for $30,000, your rent should be at least $300. If you buy something for $60,000, then $600 and whatnot. And so what happens is you have to be willing to do with the 1%. We're taught are this rare few of ultra elite wealthy people. And you have to play the 1% rule to get there. And I'm gonna tell you that I see what the problem is with Black folks. Because if I say, you know what I'm saying, hey, we talking about 1%, right? So would you trade $30,000 for $300 a month. But remember, it's $300 a month as long as you own the asset, and we ain't even talking about appreciation. So you may be thinking like, man, shit, that ain't no money. That ain't no money. But if you understand $300 a month, $3,600 a year, 3,600 divided by 30,000, you probably got you a good 12% return on your money, and that's a damn good return. So anyway, my point is there's something known as the 1% rule, and in order for us to get there, we need to learn to discipline ourselves to put ourselves in a 1% position. So in other words, again, you know what I mean? We could take, you know, what, $100 and then you make $1 a month. You could take 1,000 and you make $10 a month. You understand what I'm saying? Just 1%. Would you give me $1,000 to make $10 a month or $120 a year? You may be looking at that shit like, man, what the fuck, nigga, $10 a month, $10 a month. But that may be all you have in a sense. And let's just say, see, here's another misconception that I know that we have, that you know, you think you can do something better with the bread, but all this time in your existence, you ain't done shit with money. You ain't done nothing but pretty much stay in the same damn position. You ain't built no portfolio of nothing of massive to show that we got assets, but we don't like. But so when we start seeing certain numbers, we be like, oh no, that ain't good enough, and you ain't did shit the whole time. We got a big misconception with money. Trust me, I'm telling you, when you come in the Wealth Club, you got to come get on this cash flow thing, this simulation, to see how you spend money, to see if you got what it takes to get out the rat race. And it's easy to do certain strategies, and people will tell you that played it. I'll take away certain things just to see how you think, and I guarantee you go bankrupt, because we haven't developed the financial IQ. And this is what I love about me and Minister Jew's flow, is because he's strengthening you on the right brain portion, and then I'm bringing the left brain aspect of analytics when it deals with finances. And then we got to marry those two particular things, and then goddamn it, we're gonna be unstoppable in this realm. So I don't care if you a hippie, but somebody got to pay your hippie ass bills. That's the truth. That water bill got to get paid. All that communal thing that you're trying to do, it has to get paid. You understand what I'm saying? And we got to strengthen that particular muscle. So we got to do what the 1% do. The 1% is willing to do what everybody else ain't willing to do. And you got to know what that is. You know what I'm saying? So good shit, Rich Wealthy. Man, we're going to wrap it up. It's 10 o'clock, man. We good? We good? Serenity, good. OG Bruce Lee, yes, you're correct. You said some Gemini Sag connection. I won't tell you what, but yeah, for sure. Yeah, that mortgage is a motherfucker. Get somebody else to pay your mortgage is the name of the game. If somebody else paying your mortgage, it makes perfect sense. That's just the name of the game. You know what I mean? Get somebody else to pay it, so you don't have to be a slave to a 9 to 5 that you don't like. You know what I'm saying? To pay it. Get somebody else to pay it for you. You know what I mean? Yep. All right, y'all good? All right, man. So y'all can get to Minister Jew at The Imagination Guru. Click on the membership tab. The Imagination Guru. Click on the membership tab. I saw somebody. Let me see. Who was that earlier? Let me go back for a second here. I think I got your email. I know who you are. You got to, but email me. Who was that said that? Somebody said something about, I was talking about reports, and it was like I signed up and I didn't see anything. I don't know how to sign in. And I want to go back to that real fast because I don't want, let me see. Laverne Thomas Bay, if you still in here, if you said you signed up to something, you don't have to log into anything. But if you signed up to something, give me an email so I can know exactly what you're talking about. Email me at noble, Noble Ampu, AMPU, nobleampu at Gmail. Send me an email, and then here I'm gonna add you in the chat. So just in case you're still here, let me know if you did get something or if you signed up for something. That way we can get you taken care of. All right. So it's nobleampu at Gmail. All right. Send me an email. If y'all want to get at me, man, get that report. It's only $19 a month. That's what you went to. All right. myastrologycoach.com. Click on membership. And then you can get over here on the Wealth Club, man. I'm telling you, man, stop playing. Stop playing around. Stop playing around. I tell my son this and I end it, man. You're not going to be able to say you didn't bring me information to help me better my life. Now you ain't gonna be able to say you didn't put me in a situation. One thing is good for information, okay, but now I'm putting you in a situation. You rent free, homie. But I'm gonna tell you what the payoff, what the trade-off is. You can't bring your girlfriend. Ain't no booing up. Ain't none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? We got to get super duper 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 busy. All right. So with that, man, join me. The Prosperity Investment Group Family Wealth Club is where we at.